Hi, it's Fionna Gossling from Riley Page with a really quick update as to what happened in Oakville real estate in November 2022. So as you can see from the graph below, this is kind of an overview of the entire year, and we had 155 sales throughout the month of November. That's our lowest number of transactions we've had this year. And it kind of is rivaling January numbers, although January was a little bit stronger. The difference between November and January was months of inventory or units available. So when we're talking about months of inventory, where it's saying if no new product came to the market, how many months would it take to sell out everything that we currently have on the market at the rate that the market is moving? And in November, that was 3 months. In October, it was also 3 months, and it's kind of hovered around that 2.5, 3 month mark since June. The average sale price is down, but remember, with only 155 data points, that means a really big sale or a really little sale, or the absence of a big sale, can skew that number quite a lot. What I find a more valuable metric is the median sale price. And the median sale price is 1.250, which is down over October, but it's kind of hovering around where it's been since June. In June, it dropped down to 1.260, and it's kind of stayed hovering around that price point since then. And our days on market is 25. We're comparing month over month here. So no, we're not. We're comparing year over year here. So between now and my update in June, really, we are going to see big decreases in average sale price, because this is when we started to see the big jumps in average sale price. Basically, what's happened is the market has corrected to where we were in October 2021. And then the market started to take off, and we saw a lot of inexplicable numbers there. And so now we're starting to see the correction on that, and it's turning up in this year over year comparison from here. And it will continue until June, and then we will see what happens. So months of inventory are way up. We've got way more product on the market, so more to choose from. If you are selling right now, you need to be very realistic and sharp in your price, because those numbers have come down 13% over selling a property in November 2021. So when you're looking at comparable sales, you need to be comparing month to month. Here's a little breakdown of the micro markets. Of course, it makes a difference when we're talking about those average sale prices. On the first slide, it takes into account detached homes, townhouses, and condos. So here's a breakdown of all of that. The average sale price was 1.8 for a detached home. Average townhouse was just over $1 million, $1,062,000. So that number has come down quite a bit. Although interestingly enough, the townhouse market is still very strong. So there's only 1.8 months of inventory there. Of all of the sales that we had, 50 of them were in townhomes, and they're selling faster than condos or detached homes. Condos, we have a lot of inventory, 4.8 months. So if you are thinking about buying a condo right now, there's quite a bit of choice right now, which is a nice change for buyers after the last few years we've had. These stats you can study in more detail should you be interested, but basically I track the average and the median sale price for all property types over the last 3 years, so we can start to see a trend as to what's actually happening with real estate prices. When you hear in the news or you see that prices are correcting, it's important to give it some context. So at no point in 2022 have prices corrected below 2020 levels. So there's that. If you wanted to look at it in more detail, all of these are on my website at fionnagosling.com, and then statistics. And you can look at freehold townhouses versus condominium townhouses and apartments. And then this slide lets you know what's been happening in your particular neighborhood. So if you had specific questions or want a little bit more detailed analysis, don't hesitate to reach out. But if you're just kind of curious as to what's been going on in your neighborhood in terms of activity and prices, you can have a look here and let me know if you have any questions. I'll check in again in early January.